and welcome to Finextra TV. We're here at MPE 2022 in Berlin. With me now in the MasterCard Press Lounge is Wojtek Popota, CEO and founder of Walletmor. So, hello Wojtek, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Really good to have you on. We're talking about payment implants, a massive topic at this year's event. So we're really looking forward to expanding on that. And you're in a great position because you're the world's first to provide payment implants and a full wallet solution to follow. So bring us up to date with where we are with payment implants and how is this even possible?
So as you mentioned, yeah, that's true. Walletmor is the first and still the only company that does those sort of things, which is implantable payment instruments. And we are at the very, very early stage, of course, in this market. We just have a few hundred customers around the world. So it's definitely even a pilot project, like a prototype that we are now offering to our ambassadors, because that's how we called our customers. And it's pretty simple, because let's think of the implant like a mini payment card that you can use wherever you are, whenever the contactless payments are accepted. Just tap your hand to the NFC reader and the payment is done. So as simple as it is with the card.
All right, well, thank you very much for bringing us up to date then. So tell us, what are some of the advantages then of payment implants compared to the more well-established instruments?
So even though the main advantage of the payment implant is the fact that it's amazing in terms of having it, in terms of using it, and it gives you the sensation that you are, let's say, a better version of a human. But on the other hand, we need to capitalize on the fact that Walletmor implants are both ultimately secure and ultimately convenient. Because when it comes to biometrics, you cannot forget your hand from home or from office, and you always have it. So you can always use, for example, your fingerprint to authenticate a transaction. But on the other hand, once your fingerprint gets stolen, you cannot change it anyhow. In terms of the tokens, the electronic tokens, like a fob, like a card, you need to manage that. You need to carry it. You have a chance to lose it. But on the other hand, if there's any problem with that device, you can just block it or reprogram it, depending on the solution that you use. So Walletmor implants combine those two amazing advantages, and that's why I believe they are the way forward, and that's the future for the individual customers to use it conveniently and securely everywhere where contactless payments will be possible to authorize it and to proceed.
Fascinating. I mean, it is a really exciting future.
It certainly is.
With talking about the opportunities and the advantages, it's worth talking about maybe some of the challenges and hurdles as well. So what are some of those challenges with merging the digital and the physical identity there? What about that?
I believe, Walletmor is certainly a very disruptive innovation. And whenever we are looking at the product life cycle of the disruptive innovation, we are always starting with the same group of people. It's innovators and early adopters. And it's no way we can get to the mass market in the matter of a couple of years. It will take a number of years, probably like 10, 15, to normalize this solution. Because at the moment, the technology, the digital infrastructure is already there. We have no issues with that. The case is that we need to normalize the device. We need to normalize the, let's say, the approach to put a device into your body, even though it's 100% safe. It's the safety of the device is confirmed, but all the certificates, studies, research, everything that you name, like Walletmor wins all the discussions about the biosafety, but what matters at the moment is just the willingness from the banks, from the schemes, from every party that is involved, issuers, acquirers, every party that is involved in the whole transaction scheme. So I believe we are now facing a social acceptance kind of a challenge, and it's the only challenge that we are facing at the moment. But on the other hand, it's the hardest one to come over, because we are all humans and we are, like, by nature not super keen to introduce that disruptive changes to our lives. So I believe the way forward would be to capitalize on our ambassadors, and as long as people see that this device is used by a friend, member of a family, or a famous person, that's the way forward to bring the device to the mass market. And that's what we are working on. But I'm aware that it's a very long-term game, but on the other hand, a very fruitful long-term game.
So changing perceptions is at the top of the agenda as well then.
Yeah, of course.
So
it has always been.
Yeah, so taking all of that into account then, could you give us sort of a summary? By no means an easy question, but what do you think the future in the space holds?
I believe it's not related only to the implantable technologies, but I believe that everything, whatever we are talking about the identity, or we are talking about payments or authorization, is becoming more and more digital. We are seeing this with the European Commission's project about digital identity. We are seeing this by multiple initiatives handled by banks, schemes, and all the other companies that are present out there. And I believe that Walletmor sort of matches these trends out there. And since more and more gateways and paths are there for the Walletmor to step in and to follow, such as being able to offer customers not only a payment solution in the implant, but also an option to, for example, authorize their identity when they are, for example, at the airport and they need to identify themselves to board the airplane, or to go to the local doctor and show them medical documents that they are willing to show, of course. And all of these challenges related to the cybersecurity, to the data management challenges are there to be handled by Walletmor. But from a technological perspective, the technology is there. What matters is the willingness from those partners to enable us to offer those services to our customers. Because from our perspective, our device, the implant, is always seen and marketed as an enabler, as an aggregator of multiple features. But in order to be there and to offer those applications and all of these services, you need to have the connection with those partners. So it's not only a challenge towards the individual customers, but also the companies that would be willing to work with us and to put themselves on the same level as Walletmor when it comes to the disruptive innovator.
Sure.
Sometimes it might be scary, but I believe, again, in the long-term game, that's something that will happen.
So partnerships are key. So I'll let you get back to the event so you can share your insights with the other delegates and sponsors. But Wojtek, thank you so much. It's
thank
a
you
really
very much for
exciting
having
space.
me. Yeah.
Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, because those are the men that I learned this truth from through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai. Yahweh is the true name of the God of Israel. Yahushai is what the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, but his one and only true name is Yahushai. And pretty much, as you've seen in the intro of this video, that was the founder of this company called Walletmor, which the founder, he pretty much said that the future of payments is going to be on that RFID chip implant, all right, which if you can receive it, that's the Motb, which is an acronym for what you see on the screen, all right? And this is why all the events is occurring in the world, from the disease outbreaks, the inflation, everything is leading to a global economic collapse, so that the elite banking families, which are the true descendants of Esau Edom, the so-called white man and his seed line, all right, so that the elite banking families could cause a global economic collapse and come in with an entirely new system to replace this system, all right? And they well aware that there will be crime, uprising of the people. You know, it's going to be an insurrection. You're going to have martial law enforced. So all these different events is going to play out in these last days, which is Bible prophecy, all right? So I'm going to just get to this. 2 Corinthians 2:11. It says, least Satan should get an advantage of us. And when you go into this word Satan, the word there in the Greek is Satanas, which is talking about a Satan-like man. Now, there's a group of people, all right, and this whole world is under the vibration of worshiping Satan. Why? Because when you read Second Ezra 6 and 9, it says that Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. You know, the scriptures also say that the nation of Edom, pursuing the Malachi 1:4, they're known as the border wickedness. So these people serve Satan. From Hollywood, the hidden symbolisms that you see in these movies, cartoons, is all around us, all right? It's witchcraft all around us. But who do you have to blame for that? The Edomites, all right? So they're the physical counterpart of Satan on the planet Earth, all right? This nation has pushed forth darkness over the whole world. False philosophies, their deception, all right? The whole world pretty much is under the influence that they're the chosen people. You know, they're this great and glorious people, all right? But they're lying. So I'm going to read this again. 2 Corinthians 2:11, these Satan should get an advantage of us. The us is the elect of the nation of Israel, which us brothers that come into the truth. You know, we're called, but we hope that we're chosen, that we can endure unto the end, that we can deny that Motb, which is the RFID/NFC chip implant, according to the scriptures. All right? So it says, should get an advantage of us. How would Satan, all right, how would the so-called white man, Satan's physical counterpart, the Edomites, how would they get an advantage over us? If you're not measuring the time diligently according to the Bible, by linking up the current events with the biblical prophecies to understand the time period you're living in. You got to pay attention to the alternative media, what's going on in the news. You know, you have to pay attention to things, because us as the hopeful believers, you know, we're looking towards YAHSHAWAR coming back. But how do you know when YAHSHAWAR is coming back? Based off of what's written in the scriptures. So it says, should get an advantage of us, because there's a lot of lies that's being pushed forth, all right, a lot of agendas. It says, for we, right, the hopeful elect, because 2/3 of the nation of Israel, all right, they're deceived. You know, the Most High, through YAHSHAWAR, through an angel, has blocked their minds, so they can't accept the truth. So this devil, he got an advantage over them through his media, through using these celebrities to push forth their agenda, through being institutionalized in these school systems and so much more. All right, they're under that darkness, but the elect, you know, you can't deceive the elect. It's not possible. Lord willing, that's us. So it says, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Now, when you go into this word devices, right, let's see what it says.
Strong's G 3540, Naima. Naima.
All right, Naima, right? And it says, a mental perception, thought, an evil purpose, that which thinks the mind, thoughts, or purposes, going into what? Their New World Order agenda, all right? Agenda 21, all these different agendas that they have involving a cashless digital society, causing a global economic collapse, all right? All of this is in the scriptures. It's all Bible prophecy. But you people are under this illusion that, oh, it's a conspiracy theory, you know, like it's fiction, it can never happen. But check this out. When you go into the etymology online, you know, dictionary.com, the word conspiracy, you know, it's not a far-fetched word. It just means a plotting of evil, unlawful design, a combination of persons for an evil purpose, which links up with what? The word devices in 2 Corinthians 2:11, all right, where it says an evil purpose. So that's why it says, these Satan should get an advantage of us. It's talking about a Satan-like man, all right, Satan's physical counterpart, which is the so-called white man, beginning with the central bankers on down to the politicians on down, which are all Edomites, right? Because the Edomites control everything. It says should get an advantage of us, because there's a lot of deception. You have a lot of people, they worship the image of the beast, which is this New World Order, this current system, right? It says, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So we're very aware of his agendas, all right, of these quote-unquote conspiracy theories, because a lot of them are Bible prophecies, all right? And another one of these conspiracies, all right, or evil thoughts, as the scriptures say, is what? Agenda 21, which I'm going to get a image here. I'm trying to get a good one. Let me see. So as you can see here, this is their agenda from 2021 to 2030, right? Mission goals, the New World Order. You know, these are the things that they discuss at the World Economic Forum. How can they make this come to pass quickly? How can they convince the people in society to be accepting of this agendas, right? So you have a one world government, one world cashless currency, one world central bank, one world military. A lot of these things are prophecy, all right? Jacob's trouble, martial law, so forth and so on, right? The implementation of the MOTB. It says the end of national sovereignty. I mean, you see everything right there, all right? It says the end of all privately owned property, the end of the family unit, depopulation, which involves what? Was written on the Georgia Guidestones, right? Maintain the human population at 500 million. All these things are prophecy, man. It says, control of population growth and population density, mandatory multiple Vs, right? That's what we going through right now. This is their agenda, all right? I'm going to just get to the main point. It says microchip society for purchasing, travel, tracking, and controlling. Come on, man. Come on. This is all Bible prophecy, what we're living through. And, you know, that's the thing. You know, you got a lot of people, they don't believe in the Bible, but the scriptures, right, the testimony of the prophets is coming to pass. We're living through it. Whether you want to believe it or not, you can't deny that the prophets received these visions before we live through what we're witnessing, which is prophecy. All right? So now let's deal with this. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 9. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, a Satan-like man, referring to who? All right? The Edomites, the so-called white man in his seed line. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan. These people worship Satan. All right? They're under the influence of Satan. They're wicked. Malachi 1:4. That's why you have feminism, sodomy. That's why the world pretty much is turned upside down. It says, with all power and signs and lying wonders. Through what? First and foremost, all right, through his deception, right? His rape, robbery, and murder, him lying, right? But first and foremost, through his technology, deceiving the whole world, through his philosophies, democracy, so forth and so on, right? It says, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish. And that's what's going to happen to 2/3 of the nation of Israel. 2/3 of the nation of Israel, which are unbelieving Israelites, they're going to be put to death. Why? Because you trust in this devil. You trust in his system. You lean towards the devil for everything. All right? And the devil, I'm talking about the so-called white man in his seed line. All right? That's who you put your trust in. That's your God. That's why 2 Corinthians 4 and 3-4, it mentions the God of this world have blinded the minds of them which believe not. So 2/3 of the nation of Israel, right, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians that don't believe according to the scriptures, they don't want to take heed to the prophets, all right, you worship the so-called white man. You worship Satan as your God, all right? Continuing on, it says, the working of Satan were all power, signs, and lying wonders. And that's what he's doing through his technology. He's going to convince you that this technology, the MOTB, that this is a thing of convenience. It says, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth. Yeah, because here you have the Lord, you know, he has his prophets out here, which is a sign of mercy through Yahushua, right? But then you still don't want to take heed. Why? Because the ones that's going to accept this truth is the elect of the nation of Israel. And we hope and pray that the brothers that's still pushing the correct doctrine, that's us. Because we in some scary times right now. It says, not the love of the truth. So if you don't accept the truth, what's going to happen to you? Proverbs 13:13. You're going to be destroyed. It says that they might be saved. So that's the thing. You know, this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that we have through Yahushua's blood and sacrifice, this is going to make us wise unto salvation. But 2/3 of the nation of Israel on this side, they're not meant to believe. They're not going to receive salvation. They're blinded by the God of this world. And ultimately, they're blinded by Yahushua not to believe, because it's only for the elect. It says, and the elect is the believing Israelites worldwide, right? No matter how they look. It says, and for this cause, the Most High shall send them strong delusion. That's what's going on with guys currently right now. You know, I'm not going to go into no names. I'm not going to go into no details, but you have people that's being deceived by false prophets. You know, guys that's under the 501c3 charter, guys that teach for vainglory. You know, they don't really understand why they're in the truth. They don't understand the reality of serving Yahweh Yahushua. It comes with suffering wrongfully, all right? It comes with suffering. You know, you're going to catch a lot of L's. But at the end of the day, we're going to win through Yahushua. That's why the scriptures say what? Overcame him, right? The so-called white man, his New World Order, and his Motb, that we're going to overcome him by who? The blood of the Lamb, which is Yahushua, all right? So our victory is already written, but Lord willing, you know, that's us. Continuing on, it says that the Most High shall send them strong delusion. So you got people teaching false doctrines out here, you know? They think that the Lord is dealing with them, but their actions show otherwise. It says that they should believe a lie. That's what's going on. So you're going to have 2/3 of the nation of Israel that trust in the so-called white man's technology, that's deceived by the God of this world, which is Satan and his physical counterpart, the so-called white man. You're going to have that. You know, you already have that already. It says that they all might be damned who believe not the truth. 2/3 of the nation of Israel. Zechariah 13:8. It says, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. And that's ultimately what it comes down to. You know, a lot of you people, a lot of our people, let me be more specific, 2/3 of the nation of Israel, you put your job, you put carnal, temporary things before Yahweh and Yahushua, which is our powers. You know, you put carnal, temporary things above serving the Lord, and that's what's going to lead to your destruction. You know, all your lust, you know, money, you know, you put all of that before serving the Lord. You know, you rather serve and keep heathen customs and serve a heathen God than to serve your own powers, you know, Yahweh and Yahushua, which is going to lead to your destruction. All right, so that's pretty much it. Now, let me get this. This is Salakia. All right, this is Matthew 24 and yep, Matthew 24 and 22. It says, and except those days should be shortened. So that's what you have going on. The days are being shortened, you know. Before you know it, this year is going to be already over. Time pretty much is speeding up, all right? You got so-called daylight saving time. You got the so-called white man trying to change, you know, the signs and the seasons and stuff of that nature, you know, through his calendars, the Gregorian calendar, the Julius Caesar calendar, you know. He's trying to pretty much manipulate time, but everything happens according to the will of the Most High. The days is being shortened. That's why there's so much wickedness, because this place, Babylon the Great, America, is about to be destroyed. That's why wickedness is at an all-time high. That's why these nations is forming pacts with each other that's according to the Bible. Why? Because the end result is going to be what? After the MOTB, which is the RFID chip implant, is made mandatory, you're going to have the destruction of Babylon the Great take place. So that's why these things are happening. It says, Salakia, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. So the days got to be shortened, man. This entire planet Earth is polluted. The water is polluted. You know, you have ocean pollution with the plastic. You know, you got heathen and just different people. They eating things that clean the ocean up, such as crabs, shrimp, lobster. You know, you have fluoride in the water, which breaks down your tooth enamel. You know, that's why a lot of people, you have receding gums. Why? Because of the fluoride in the water. You have chemtrails in the air, you know, which has aluminum in it. It builds up in your lungs. That's why you have a shortness of breath, you know. This is what we're dealing with. Genetically modified foods. The foods have 0 nutrients in it. You know, it's not nutritious, you know. So our bodies is just being broken down every day, man. And then not to mention, you know, we stress the hell out. You know, we got to deal with feminist women, you know. We got to see the condition of our people every day, you know. So that shit is very stressful, you know. That's why the scriptures say what? With much wisdom comes much grief. Because we understand the scriptures. We seeing it, you know, as it is written. you know, and that takes a toll on us. So these days they have to be shortened, and it is. There's a lot that we're dealing with as men of the Lord. It says, but for the elect's sake, see, these are the ones that matter. For the elect's sake, which are the believing Israelites, right? Those days shall be shortened. So this is why the days are speeding up. It's for our benefit. The day of the Lord is for the elect of the nation of Israel's benefit. Lord willing, that is us. All right. Let me get this. This is St. John chapter 10, verse 27. Because see, the so-called white man, he's going to come out with his MOTB, but you can't deceive the elect. Bottom line. St. John chapter 10, verse 27. My sheep, right, which the Lord's sheep is who? The elect of the nation of Israel, the believing Israelites worldwide. Hear my voice. What's the Lord's voice? His prophets. Luke chapter 1 and verse 70. It says, and I know them. The Lord knows all of us by name. He created us. All right. It says, and they follow me. And how do you follow the Lord? By following men of the Lord that lead you to the Lord, which we believe and we know through the Spirit that it's the apostles and elders and brothers of Great Millstone. Whether you want to believe it or not, whether you want to scoff, that's just what it is, man. Albert Bivens, he is Elijah, all right? Elder Yaquab, King Marshall, High Priest Ariel, on down to the apostles of Great Millstone. All right, these men have led us to Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. I believe that, you know, and the brothers of Great Millstone believe that. It says, and I know them and they follow me, and I give unto them eternal life. This is one of the rewards that Yahweh Shai is coming with, all right? You got our people, they like to sell out for temporary riches under the so-called white man and be a slave to promote his wicked-ass agendas, which lead to death, all right? But this devil, he can't give you eternal life. He can't give you immortality through his technology, you know? The one that's going to give us everlasting life is who? Yahweh Shai. And we can't wait for that, man. You know, that's one of the rewards that he's coming to bring us. And they shall never perish. We never going to die, you know? Because you got people that used to teach, oh, you're going to live 1,000 years and die. There ain't no precepts on that. It's going to take 1,000 years for the kingdom of heaven to be built up by the heathen nations, all right? That's what that's talking about. It says, they shall never perish, neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand. So this is what dudes don't be understanding, you know? It doesn't matter what type of trial or tribulation, you know, you're put under, you know, regardless of what your situation is. The Lord, he won't allow his elect to ever be deceived. He put that in us to always believe and follow Yahweh Yahweh Shai throughout all our generations. We would hear, you know, the mouth of the prophets. We would hear the prophets prophesy through our generations, and the Lord would wake us up through the Spirit. That's just how it is. So you can't deceive the elect. It ain't possible. It says, my Father which gave them me is greater than all. All right, we serve a true and living God. These prophecies is living. We seeing what's written. It says, and no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. That's just the bottom line. You can't deceive the elect with no philosophy, no nothing, no technology, no agendas, none of that. All right? The elect is destined to believe and be saved. Ephesians 1 and 4. Ephesians 1 and 4 through 5. According as he hath chosen us. Who's the us? The elect of the nation of Israel. And this is an epistle of Paul that he wrote to the Israelites that were at Ephesus. This is what he wrote to them in his letter. According as he hath chosen us, the us is the believers, in him, in who? Yahweh Yahweh Shai, in Yahweh Shai, before the foundation of the world. So before the earth was even formed and created, before the elements came together, all right? The elect from the foundation of the world, right? The Most High have chosen us. It says that we should be holy, holy meaning separate, right? And without blame, meaning we're going to be blameless. Because it's not about, you know, it's not what comes into a man, but it's about what comes out, you know? What have you done according to the Spirit to glorify Yahweh and Yahweh Shai? That's what it comes down to, all right? See, that's where people getting messed up at. You know, yeah, we're born sinners. That's why we need Yahweh Shai. But the fruits of the Spirit, meaning the actions of the Spirit, that's what you would be judged on. Because through Yahushua we're under mercy and grace. It says should be holy and without blame. That's why Revelation 14:4 says what it says. The elect of the nation of Israel is blameless. All right? No matter what they did according to the flesh, no matter, how much they sin, they're blameless. Why? Because Yahweh said so. All right? Because Yahushua says so. It says without blame before him in love, having predestinated us unto the adoption of children by Yahushua HaMashiach to himself according to his good pleasure of his will. So the point is, you can't deceive the elect at all. I'm going to end it off with this. Revelation 19:20. And the beast, the beast is talking about NATO and the EU, right, was taken, and with him the false prophet. The false prophet is the Roman Catholic Church. And out of the Roman Catholic Church, you have the two biggest religions in the world, Christianity and Islam, right? They are wrought miracles. The miracles is talk about what? His technology, his AI technology, his pseudoscience. It says before him, because the thing is, through his technology, I'm going to give you an example. You have brain chip implants. You have people that were paralyzed, and now they get a brain chip implant, right? And now all of a sudden, through the technology, they can walk again. So that would be considered a miracle, because this person was destined to be paralyzed, but through the technology, they're able to walk. That's how the so-called white man deceives the world. That's how he is going to deceive the world, because he's going to push it as a thing of convenience. They're pretty much trying to imitate Yahushua's miracles that he did in the flesh through spiritual righteous power. All right, they're trying to imitate it through their technology. That's why Isaiah the 14th chapter, verses 12 through 16 says what? He's trying to be like the Most High. All right. So continuing on, it says before him, with which he deceived them that have received the MARK, talking about the RFID chip implant, which is the Motb of the beast, and them that worship his image. His image is his New World Order agenda, all right, which he's trying to get that done by 2030. It says, it says, receive the MARK of the beast and them that worship his image. These both were cast alive into the lake of fire, burning with brimstone. So that's letting you know that what? Before the destruction of Babylon the Great, the MOTB is going to be made mandatory first, before the destruction of Babylon the Great, which is America, by thermonuclear missiles. So that's what's going to happen. The ones of you that take that chip, you're going to be destroyed by thermonuclear missiles, thus saith the Lord. Lord willing, you was edified. Shalom.